Hey strong people, I'm Kalle Beck from StartingStrongman.com, and the Arnold Strongman Classic is just 7 days away. Event 1 kicks off with the Rogue Elephant Bar Deadlift Friday afternoon at the Main Stage Expo Center, 3 p.m. to 4:15 p.m. It has an opening weight of 751 pounds. I've, in a previous video, broken down the differences between the Elephant Bar and a deadlift bar and previous records set by Eddie Hall. We're not talking about records here. That was done in a previous video as well. Go to my channel and search around. Today I'm going to be talking about how I think people are going to stack up in every event. And the record breaker doesn't, the points don't exactly carry over into this. So this event is going to have the most hype of the weekend because I guess everyone can relate to a deadlift. But who's the most important for this event is Mateusz Kieliszkowski. Did I say that good enough? This is the biggest event for him because looks like he's so good at everything else, but he could get 9th or 10th at this event. So let's go down and look through who I'm going to get first through second. And you know, he might just start off this weekend in a giant hole. But I think it's good that it's the first event instead of the third, because then you have that pressure on him. So, Mateusz Belsack has some hamstrings, some other injuries. He's still pretty strong in the deadlift at the Arnold Santa Monica, and I'd expect him to pull somewhere in the 800s. I think number 1 is going to be Hafthor Bjornsson. I think he'll just break by a couple pounds his record from last year on his third attempt to win the event, but he's going to get pushed to the brink by Brian Shaw and Gerry Pritchett. They might go for broke and attempt a little more. They might miss it. They might get it and win the event. Very possible. You can't rule it out. But if you're putting the big money, you put up the money on the person who won it last year, who has put up the biggest training lift that publicly we know about, and that's Hafthor Bjornsson. So I'm going to say Bjornsson, Shaw, Pritchett, and then they're going to go for 500 kilos. Covered that in a different video. Then let's look where it gets interesting is who gets 4th through 6th. And I think that's going to be between Mikhail Shivlikov, Martins Lisis, and Rana Hanla. Oh, also JF Karan. JF Karan probably going to get 4th. So, out of those 4, I think JF Karan, he had a hamstring injury, and he was also looking huge in training. He's probably a lock for 3rd or 4th in this event, but there's just a little doubt with that he had to pull out of the Arnold Santa Monica with a hamstring injury, which is kind of important for deadlifting, and that sometimes a higher body weight can really throw off your deadlift mechanics. And if he's had a hamstring injury, hasn't been able to train his deadlift as much. Hope he's healthy. If he's healthy, easily pulls 3rd or 4th. He got over 1,000 pounds for, I believe, it was the first time in his career in a competition last year at the event. So wouldn't doubt if he's in 3rd or 4th there somewhere. Mikhail Shivlikov, I think, got 4th at the event with that epic nosebleed. What was it, 970-ish pounds? And I think I think he could do it again. Rana Hanla's probably in the upper 900s as well. But I think at the Arnold Strongman Classic on the Elephant Bar, Martins is going to be the next person to join the 1,000-pound deadlift club. So that's going to bring how many people that could lift over 1,000 pounds on the same day at the same contest? We got Hafthor Bjornsson, Brian Shaw, Gerry Pritchett, JF Karan, Martins, maybe Shivlikov or Hanla. We could have, I would not be surprised at all if there's 5 people that deadlift over 1,000 pounds come Friday. Even maybe 6 or 7. That's insane. You could deadlift 900 something pounds and get like 8th at this contest. And that's not just hype. I think for Kieliszkowski, he has to hope that he can get points over Alexei Novikov, who's very young and is looking strong. He's very strong at the moving events. He won the Arnold Amateur last year, but he definitely needs to pick up points over him. And I think it's going to be hard pressed that he even gets points over Belsac. I know Belsac does have some injuries, but he's still placed higher at the Arnold Santa Monica. We're probably looking at 9th, even maybe 10th for Kilishkovsky at this event. So that's going to be tough. Going into event 2, the Husafeld Stone, I would think that Kilishkovsky is a lock for this event, but he's going to have to go first, and when an event is for max distance, that is a huge deficit to start in. But maybe he also didn't have to lift as many attempts and be up there and do the rogue record breakers. He might be also a little bit more fresh. He's going to set a standard that is going to be hard to beat, but everyone is going to be gunning for it. And when you have a mark that you know you have to beat, it's a lot easier to keep going. We saw this at the Arnold Santa Monica when he put up what was way ahead of everyone else's distance in the sandbag carry. Then Hanla and Lisis went for broke to get just past him. If he was going just past them, could have he went past them? Probably, but they had the luxury of going after, and we're going to have that same problem for him here. And having a max distance front carry, this Husafeld stone, which is a replica of the stone from Iceland, which Hafthor Bjornsson does hold the world record in, but it's probably also the only one out of this group that has even tried it. It's tough to say because we haven't seen events like that too often. I think Martins is very good at these types of events. Hanla is, I think, really underrated at this stuff. Shivlakov's probably going to do well. Shaw, we don't know. I haven't seen too much of his training on this event. But I think the top 3 are going to be Hafthor, Kilishkovsky, and Lisis in some sort of order, with Hanla, Shaw, Shivlakov also fighting in there somewhere, mixing it up. Going on to the Wheel of Pain. This is the event we know the least about. I'd say it's fair to say who's good at pulling a truck would also be good at doing this. Gerry Pritchett looked like he was simulating it well with this shield he welded up pushing a truck. Basically, it's going around in a circle. It has these sand-filled rogue snails, which they've used in the CrossFit games in the past, that keep dumping sand over and over into them, which they say you're never going to be able to build up momentum. There's different heights of the poles. It looks like a lot of the competitors are actually going to be pushing up into it, except I think they're building some sort of stage, so those are going to come down. You'd think that body weight would have a big factor on this, where it's going to benefit someone like Brian Shaw and Hafthor, by far the biggest people in the contest. How heavy is Hafthor right now? It looks huge. So I'd say they're very likely to do good on this event. But if you're going off of truck pull performance, you can't count out Kilishkovsky. But we just really don't know. And this is the wild card event of the Arnold, and it's going to determine a lot. But if I have to put money on anyone, I'm going to say I think Thor takes it, except it looks like he's just kind of pushing a prowler, somewhat heavy on the floor back and forth. I like how Martins has been training it, where he's making sure to go a full 60 seconds pushing something. But yeah, I think it's going to be, I think this event could either look really cool or be hard to follow, and we'll see. But it's by far the biggest strongman event, strongman implement that's ever been specifically made for strongman. And props to the Arnold and Rogue for getting that done. Event 4, the Austrian Oak. I'm going to pull a wild card here and say Kilishkovsky wins this event, followed by Brian Shaw and Hafthor in third. Hafthor looks very strong. He's always a little shaky at the top with a log. We saw that in his training. I think he's a little beat up, so with some rest, he might be better prepared. But I got to throw some sort of wild cards out there in these events. This is a point where Martins pretty much, I think the Austrian Oak's just a little out of his grasp. It'd be nice if he could get it, but I just probably not quite there yet. He needs to put up top points with the feather log that weighs 375 pounds. The Austrian oak is reported at 430, so that's lighter than it used to be in the past when it was 450. So Martins could lose some points here, especially to Kielishkovsky. And yeah, I think Shivakov is very good. Reps for the feather log. Hanla, underrated log presser. Karan is going to be up there. Belsak's a very good log presser, but he's got a couple injuries. We just don't know how healthy he is. Pritchett looks just on the cusp of maybe getting a rep or not on the Austrian oak, getting 420 in training very easily. Of course, the Austrian oak's harder because it's bigger than a steel log. One thing I want to notice, you see a lot of the athletes trying to replicate the events very specifically, and the only person I've seen in training on a big, oversized wooden log is Kielishkovsky. And I just don't understand that. I think people like Halfthor and Brian Shaw have the means to get some sort of replica made. They've got an elephant bar style replicas made, and I don't see why an event that's so prolific and common, why they don't have a giant homemade Slater log. Stone to shoulder. This is going to be a battle between Lisis and Kielishkovsky with Hanla right behind them. Be interesting to see if Halfthor and Shaw have learned from the event being its first year last year. Last year being its first year, so that backwards. And if they can make up for it. Being the last event, people also might go way harder. They're a little tentative last year, especially Halfthor. If you really have, and you got to see if people need to, are they just going to go for broke on this event? But I really do think, so if someone gets more than 5 stone to shoulders with it, they're going to get $5,000. And I think Kielishkovsky is going to get that. Lisis also looks very good at stone to shoulder, and this stone used to be at his gym. It came from there, so I'm sure he has experience on it. And but it's towards the end of the contest. Everyone's going to be beat up. Anything can happen in between here. Everyone picks up little aches and pains, and at the end of the day, I think Halfthor repeats. The question is, did Kielishkovsky lose too many points on the deadlift to be able to just to make up for him with the 2 event wins? I think he's going to get it at the end to make podium. I think he will, but Lisis might just make that up there, and I think Brian Shaw, I also would not be shocked at all if Brian Shaw comes in super consistent and wins this whole thing. It's all I gotta say. It doesn't matter what I say. It's just fun Monday morning quarterbacking or just predicting stuff that I can't do. And I'm just excited to watch it, just like you. If you want to watch it, there's going to be streamed live on Rogue Fitness YouTube channel and Facebook. I will share those links on my own social media, of course, which is at Starting Strongman, at Let Kalle Lift, the Starting Strongman Facebook group. I'll put watch parties in there, which is always fun because it's just us commentating on them. Not you, just us. And of course, follow StartingStrongman.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Get all of your latest news and information on sports strongman. Of course, go to store.startingstrongman.com so I can afford some new t-shirts. These are way too tight now.